Hey everybody, and welcome to the House of Holocrons, episode 19. And in this episode, not only we have a new guest joining us, so there'll be plenty to talk about there. We're also going to have, of course, the leaky House of Mouse. These last few weeks, man, there have been so many images, so many new things coming out. In the last month, they've had all kinds of leadership change, and just it seems their projects aren't as tightly kept as they have been in the last 5 years or so beforehand. But
I wonder if it's on purpose, though.
um. mm, Maybe. I can see it.
I think we'll have plenty of time to get into that.
So then, of course, the first thing I got to do, though, with a new guest is simple introduction
Talk
of
about
yourself.
sponsors, right?
No, I wish. Yeah, if I had any, we'll get there eventually one of these days. If you'd like to sponsor me, send your boy a bone. I'll bite. The big thing, though, is, of course, introduce yourself and whatever you would like to send the people your way. And then the biggest question that I've always got to ask the first person that when they're on the podcast is, what got you into Star Wars?
All right, so I am JT Displays, folks. I am an esports commentator. Also do just general sports broadcasting there, presenter. I've done some charity streams, especially locally here, working with the local esports council. Also have done just sports broadcasting as well. Do a little bit of everything. I've also do Cyberpunk Red GMing, so I've got a little bit of steeped into that mythos of that our Talsorian Games is kind of developed with that, and Mike's Pondsmith there. So big. That's my kind of big nerd deep dive right now. But I've been a huge Star Wars fan for eons and eons and eons. They could say. Since I was a kid, right? Growing up in the 90s. I remember when the Jenny Tarkowski Star Wars Clone Wars came out on Cartoon Network during, I loved that shit. That was Star Wars is Star Wars, man. That's where that's really solidified. It's hey, listen, we all get Jar Jar Binks. We all understand that, all right? But that shit right there was so cool, and that was really oh man, we got these laser guys. We got clone troopers just repelling them. The animation style and honestly really helped spark a lot of that formulates a lot of my ideas about animation as well as voice acting and stuff like that, and just how much reference I have for that as well.
Yeah, you'll love this. I actually just today picked up the Black Series 6-inch figure of Mace Windu with the battle armor and everything from that Clone Wars series.
Nice. Was that between
you can't
that one
find it anywhere?
And who was it?
Oh, the other one was the with Frodo, the Red Arc Trooper.
Okay.
Yeah, they had the Walmart up here in Zona Rosa had a bunch of Mace Windus. So hey guys, if you're in the area and you need a Mace Windu, Zona Rosa Walmart's gotcha.
I was because you cannot find the DVDs of those anywhere. I've checked. It's such a hard thing to find nowadays. So it's a nice big flex if you can find it. It's
and the best thing, of course, Disney Plus. They were smart. They're no, get all of it. We'll pay you whatever you want. Just please, from everything from the Ewok special to this to every single Lego show you could possibly imagine. And honestly, we've been watching some of the Lego stuff with our 1-year-old because we think it's for him. Yeah, we think it's for him, but at the same time,
he goes and plays.
Oh my god, they're hilarious. They have so many funny jokes.
So 100%. I used to work adjacent to the Lego company, and they are very rigid about being faithful to the source material there. So to the point where Star Wars shows and stuff like that. As much as we all love Dave Filoni, and we all love Dave Filoni, not all Star Wars things is completely strictly adhering to the canon. Whereas Lego, it's oh, here, give us what the canon is. That's what the canon is. Okay, cool. Can we make these jokes? Yes, you can. All right, we're gonna make these jokes about these things that don't always make sense. And yeah, it's very aware of its audience, right?
Yeah.
It knows that it's for kids, but it knows hey, adults are watching it too. The parents are watching this too, and
they have more money.
Geeks. No, they're the geeks that are trying to introduce that are trying to introduce their kids into this shit. So that's I love that 100%.
Yeah, we're getting him how many Star Wars things, Pokemon things,
and
everything we
himself,
can.
Yeah, he loves it. The big thing too, kind of speaking of Dave Filoni though, is I'm also excited though. What is it? Mandalorian episode 4 and 7?
4 and 7.
4 and 7, yeah, I believe, are going to be directed by Favreau and Filoni. written by Favreau and Filoni for season 3. So that's the ones.
Fantastic.
So there's a lot of people, of course, thinking that we're going to see some Sabine or some Rebels or something like that in there. And that's another testament is how where DC shines in their animated and Marvel is focusing entirely on like cinematic. Star Wars actually has done a good job of both. Like animated to it's found an audience somewhere on all of them.
Yeah, like and for sure, like for me, one of my favorite ones was Bryce Dallas Howard when she was directing. Like those are some of my favorite episodes of The Mandalorian. So I really appreciate her directorial style and the way that she's able to approach the stories that she wants to direct for them there as well. And I really love those talkbacks of getting to like see like all those directors around the round table just kind of talking about
That's so good.
like you know that inside info, the chop shop type stuff. It's
Yes.
great.
Yeah, I don't think that them being the only writers is going to affect anything because clearly the directors have an effect on everything that is told with the story. So I think it'll be really fun.
But you know, if nothing else, if they listen to the audience and if they listen to the statistics and to the viewership and or teaches them a lot, if you really focus down on the idea of like writing and not having to rely on the crutches that Star Wars has just put on the movies, like, and it's because that's the thing is everyone knows like, oh, you have to have these Jedi, and like they're thinking about it in like almost like a Hollywood scheme of like you have to have a Jedi and they got to have like this Sith guy, you gotta fight somebody, and then there got to be this rogue dude. Like, no, it's Star Wars. Every single one of us has played almost all the video games when we're super nerds and like, oh no, I've played a rogue character, I've played a Mando character, I've played a Sith character, I've played the good, the bad storyline, but all of it. I want anything. Give it to me. So Skeleton Crew, that's going to be an interesting one because we know nothing about that besides it's a bunch of kids. And then the guy who
Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law. I always forget his name. Acolyte has some leaks. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Acolyte leaks have just recently sprung up around the internet, and internet.
Those are making me excited.
As a huge Sith guy, I'm giddy. High Republic's gonna be dope. The newest images we got from Twitter yesterday would have been a big old Wookiee Jedi, and then a Zabrak, and then some other humanist.
Yeah. I saw Mesa Windu was breaking those down on TikTok.
Yeah,
as well, so.
yeah. Oh, I love Mesa Windu. Awesome guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, huge. I'd love to have him on the show.
Everybody I've seen is thinking that Buriaga is the Wookiee.
So there are two. Like I was kind of saying this. I would love if it's Buriaga.
It would mean he was alive. And I need him to be alive.
Oh man. And I'll tell you what, if they made movies out of the books, I honestly don't think I would want it because it wouldn't do it justice. The books, to those who haven't read them, it really does capture you in a weird way, but it's brutal. I was just on a podcast yesterday, so look forward to Diet in the Force, or we're recording it. We're talking about the new Phase 2 of High Republic, and these authors, the young adult novel ended darker almost than the High Republic's adult novel did. And the Phase 1 ended brutally and viciously with just death everywhere. Oh, you like this guy? How about we give the Jedi a red wedding?
I was like, I have not really delved into the book side of things since high school. That being said, like when I was in high school, I was, like one of my favorite ones that I did read. And I'm wondering if they might readapt it in a certain way. Was the Centerpoint trilogy there, where you had some legacy content there, where I think technically like Chewie dies there is trying to save the twins, and like involves Mara Jade, all these characters that don't exist in canon anymore.
Yeah.
So
Mara Jade would have been a fun one.
But, it's hard to see that happening, that more and more that's probably one of those things that they wanted to peel back the onion on.
Yeah.
Just allow them a little more creativity. And I totally fully respect that there. They had a vision when they retconned everything. And I understand that. I respect it there. So like I said, I'm not too mad about it one way or the other there. It's just, it is what it is, but that was certainly a really fun and interesting concept to me to have like these two different worlds and like that gravity and like having to space station in the middle of the gravity of these two worlds. And it was like, oh man, now we're gonna like the science shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it really was the Wild West.
I love the sciencey stuff.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy when they're like, oh, this would happen because of the inertia based on this planet, pulling it this way.
We get science in our magic space show.
And that's that's the beauty of the EU. Again, and that's another thing I highly recommend is people who haven't read some of the EU stuff, especially the older stuff, read it because it's just other nerds who didn't have the prequels, didn't have the sequels yet, who were just like, I need more Star Wars. There wasn't any for a long time between the originals and the prequels. And now we're just getting spoiled. And I love it.
Remind me, is the Dark Horse comics that had like Cade Skywalker, are those still canon, or do they also retcon those? Because that was also when I started like reading some of those comics there.
No, sadly, all Dark Horse stuff is non-canon right now, except for the things currently coming out for High Republic. I wish it was because the Dark Horse stuff is my favorite. Those are like the old.
Because they had like
that's the old Sith.
Skywalker. It was like the new stuff.
Oh yeah, the legacy stuff too. I have Darth Krayt and the Darth Talon.
Like Darth Talon, and Cade Skywalker. Like that was like as a teenage boy, like in like freshman year in college, like oh man. This is the dark, edgy stuff.
Yeah,
that wasn't dark and edgy before, but oh man, now we got like the future.
I would love to get there, but we have again
because it's a galaxy far, far away and a long time ago. So
right, it sucks to get to that part because to get to Cade and to Talon, you have to go through the Yuzong Vong invasion, and Disney's not going to touch that. I don't think. I don't think they're gonna.
They're gonna tone it down a lot.
That's a lot of mutilation and like forcing evolution on things.
Disney hears Yuzong Vong is like, that sounds a lot like a multiverse there. All right, listen, let's get Iron Man to deal that shit here. We'll call it Secret Invasion here. We'll have scrolls instead, all right?
Ooh.
Like my wife's totally pumped about that. Amped.
Oh,
amped,
dude,
pumped,
same.
Amped.
No, I like that. Pamped. There we go. Pamped. That should be like a little
scrolls.
action thing that should just pop up whenever you say that in purple. It's like pamped.
Yeah, no, same. I'm so excited for Skrulls and Secret Invasion. It's making me so giddy.
Yeah.
And then the so then with current stuff though, you have seen Andor?
We are working our way through it.
We've not even finished. Better. That's fine. We've not
finished.
Like, so we will.
We've gotten like, and I do love Andor, and especially the Obi-Wan series as well. Like just because it's finally like, oh, like this is the cyberpunk version of Star Wars, and I am here for it here. Like you look at these these big giant apartment buildings that they're in. It's like like these mega structures. It's like again very cyberpunk aesthetic there, very reminiscent of like Blade Runner there. Like you still got that blue milk thrown in there.
Yep.
You got like these nice small human stories there. Like the fascist mom, it's like the Jewish mom of the fascist. Like honestly, how does she raise I don't know. Like listen. And I'm sure there's some subtext there, but we won't get into that because I haven't finished it yet, so I can't really. But yeah, it's so interesting. Like again, you have like these really cool concepts that haven't been introduced into Star Wars really outside of like when Ahsoka really dipped down into Lower Coruscant. During the tail end of Star Wars Clone Wars,
which is that's the closest we get, and it's just that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, the lower part of Coruscant is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And we haven't really gotten this chance to see that in live action there. Like Dave Filoni kind of sprinkled that in a little bit there at the end of Star Wars Clone Wars, which I really appreciated there. And we've also seen, other different types of stories adapted, like Star Wars Visions. That was, we can go on and on about like the different anime styles and, Studio Trigger just doing Studio Trigger things. It's incredible. But yeah, it's so interesting to see these like the corporate security structures, and it feels very much like yes, that makes sense because corporations and fascism do kind of feed a lot into each other there a little bit there. So that's right. Y'all thought this was a Star Wars podcast? No, this is actually a communism podcast here, and we're here to.
But no, don't you know? As every other white dude on TikTok would like to tell me, there's no politics in Star Wars, bro. What are you talking about?
What side of TikTok are you on? Because I'm on I'm on the what is it the gay autistic side of TikTok, right? Like I'm on the lesbian autistic side of TikTok.
You'll be surprised. Right? They creep their way in, but every now and then you'll just get these random guys who just really say some of the most guffawing things.
no, like my TikTok, is like, hey, you're neurodivergent. Hey, you're definitely a lesbian. You like women. It's like I do like women. I'm not mad. I'm gonna stay on this side of
Yeah,
TikTok. But it's
I
like,
agree with everything they said.
like if the shoe fits, fuck, man.
That's one of the beautiful things about though with Andor and the new comics, the new books. They're very female and alien and different species. Very orientated on everything that was never highlighted in Star Wars, and the
Right.
Empire tried to crush. And that's the beauty of the High Republic, because you don't have the Empire there crushing and repressing everything. You don't have the really corrupt, dying Republic before Palpatine
You know what you
easily
do
takes
have
over.
though? You got complacency though, and that's
Yeah.
how they crumble. All right, that's where you have you got a lot of ego. You got a lot of like, oh, they couldn't possibly.
Yes, that is what kills them.
The Sith are so lowly there; they couldn't possibly affect us here. We've built a perfect society. It's wonderful, and the Sith are just they were a race that
Ruffians.
we've extinguished the race that is the Sith.
And that is the hubris of it. Like, that's why I've always loved it. I mean, now my favorite thing, of course, when you dive into some of the lore, for those of you who don't know, and I love to repeat this fact, there is a Sith temple underneath the Jedi temple.
On Coruscant.
On Coruscant, the mountain that the temple was built on, which was the highest mountain of Coruscant, is a dark side force nexus. Like, so it is a literal powerhouse of evil.
Which they do touch on in the Revenge of the Sith there, because that's where Yoda is kind of like doing that, all that meditating inside the Jedi temple. He does seeing all this like dark energy there that's clouding all his visions there. And that's because of that dark temple there. So,
there's that dark temple, Palpatine's, all the and
manipulating it.
That's the beautiful thing. I really hope they do make Plagueis either the novel canon or do their own thing with him, because a lot of people forget that Plagueis is alive. Palpatine's master lives almost till the end of Phantom Menace, but it's all in the background. In the background, he's alive. Palpatine doesn't kill him till I think, way after Maul first attacks Qui-Gon on Tatooine.
I didn't know that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of aware that was like I've seen some of the things as well. But I don't expect them to really touch that, especially with the help of Ian McDermott. You got to think that some of these OG actors there, they are getting a little up in years, and it's a little harder to really like how much the different individual rights of them, how much who wants to actually want to reprise, who wants to give up their voice to an AI to continue to voice that character forever and ever and ever. It's an individual thing. Each actor has their own choice. James Earl Jones decided to give up his voice to allow that Vader to have that voice forever.
Well, at least he'd only have to give up the title, because it would be such a young Palpatine.
Right, but again, that's still his decision to make. It's not like they can really force him to do one way or the other. So I don't expect a resolution on that one there. But like what I fully expect them to do, they're going to touch on Revan. Like 100%, they will bring Revan.
They have to,
I think.
Well, because we have Plagueis' master.
We have the Acolyte,
and we have Revan.
The High Republic. Like we've got it's two good opportunities for them to bring out. Hey, what was the height of the Old Republic Sith? That was when Revan kind of came out during the Knights of the Old Republic. There.
Yeah,
they have to I don't expect them to bring out all the stories. Like I never played Knights of the Old Republic.
Because so good.
And combat system wasn't for me. I played Star Wars Battlefront 2. All right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That the OG one. All right. So not the EA shit and they bungled the.
See, KOTOR's what got me into everything, though.
Yeah, KOTOR is. I still play KOTOR all the time.
Everyone has different jumping points. Everybody has different jump points. I'm not gonna. It's just that the combat system wasn't for me.
I will definitely say that Revan will have to be mentioned. But with the High Republic, Tenebrae has been mentioned too. There is the only canon thing we have for Revan is the only canon thing we have for Tenebrae, which is a unit or a core name in the Sith army in Rise of Skywalker. The handbook, it says that Palpatine has two core armies: the Revan army and the Tenebrae army. Tenebrae is Plagueis' master, who is Palpatine's master. High Republic, Acolyte is only going to be said about towards it's like right at the end of the High Republic. So we're talking maybe 50, 60 years at that before Phantom Menace. That's one of the big things I honestly hope for. I hope that Wookiee is not Barayaga, because it makes the sacrifice more powerful. I think it could be Plo Koon's master, who was a Wookiee, Tyvoka. Because we could see a young Plo Koon. That'd be cool.
Ooh.
It would make a lot of
That would be
sense.
cool. Yeah. Um, and for sure, one thing I think that if the Acolyte's sitting as late as it is,
Mhm.
I think because I wasn't really sure. I get like I've kind of gotten in the habit of like trying to like block myself off as much as I can
Yeah.
without before like like oh I know everything and say like try to project everything. Like honestly, I would love to see come to flesh out the Night Sisters there. I think there's an
Hmm.
opportunity for them to also flesh out those Night Sisters and go back to Dathomir there and really just get into that side of stuff there because there is different parts of that dark side of the force that we
Hmm.
haven't really tapped into. I think the acolyte really allows us for an opportunity to step into that to
Yeah.
flesh out give those ideas and those stories a wider audience and more breadth to them.
And that's the
Yeah,
biggest thing is the
see them
wider audience.
in their prime though,
Yeah.
because we see them and we see a lot of their magic with Fallen Order,
Hmm.
but they're all dead
Yeah.
except for Marin.
But the big thing now is
Is Fallen Order still cool? No, oh, Jedi. No, so I'm thinking of. I was thinking
oh
of
yeah.
the Star Killer one.
Oh
Again,
yeah, I get you now.
yeah,
But
like Fallen Order. I tried to finish. It's just I got so frustrated with some of those puzzles that I just kind of like I gave I kept on getting my ass kicked on that
yeah.
planet too. I was just like, no, I'm gonna go
It's,
play some Rocket League, man.
it's like the Dark Souls of Star Wars.
It's Dark Souls Star Wars, yeah.
But I am excited for the new one.
It looks so gorgeous. And that new lightsaber, which is very High Republic inspired. But yeah, the Acolyte, I feel like it could also touch into a new side of the dark side like you want though, because again, it sucks, that books aren't as easily readable. My big thing is audible books. So I listen to most of them. I don't really read that many of them because I have to I do it at work because I work a blue collar job with my hands. So when I'm just staring underneath the dishwasher, I need something to listen to. But it helps because there's so much more lore and connections they put in there that I wish more people could have easy access to, which is why I make all this fun stuff here. The Shadow of the Sith book, which is a Luke Skywalker and Lando exploration, fun little journey that happens after Return of the Jedi, as actually Luke goes to Exegol, and there he is attacked by these spirit wraiths and is actually saved by Anakin's Force Ghost. They have a little conversation on Tython. Like, it's a great book. But this book and a lot of the other things now have started to bring about these ancient Sith artifacts that are possessing people. So a lot of the TikTokers and YouTube community are also starting to think the next big bad, especially maybe for Rey, if that's what's going to happen in the new sequel movies or anything in between, it's going to be a revived ancient Sith through a mask. I mean, besides Revan, we have there's Nihilus, maybe Darth Mar. Like a lot of them wear masks, so there's a few iconic masks to go off of. But if anyone is collecting masks, or if it becomes a ploy or a thing, they're gonna find Revan's something or another, and that'll really give them.
What was the name of the book?
The book is The Shadow of the Sith.
The Shadow of the Sith. Okay,
yes.
So it sounds like it's got a great message because it definitely sounds like the message is that you can in fact have a good relationship with your dad even after he's dead.
Exactly. Yeah. As long as he it's like the good Lordeth doth say. As long as you say sorry at the very end for killing all those children in that one room, you're okay.
So, moral of the story, kids, make sure your dad's dead. Then you can finally talk to him.
And superpowers. But no, yeah, the new book, the books are really going crazy into things. Like the comics explain why Palpatine had all the power he had finally, instead of just like throwing him at you like, haha, he's back.
He survived.
Yes, somehow he survived. Well, they kind of explain how he survived in the comics, and then they tell you people who watch movies, they're like, no. You don't get to know this because we didn't want to put it in because we probably didn't think about it till the guy who wrote the comic thought it up.
Or just cut for time like this. There's so much that gets left on the cutting room floor there.
Right. I can only imagine.
Who knows? Like I still enjoy the Last Jedi, right? So like I mean the whole people complain about the Holdo maneuver. It's like it's fine. Like Star Wars is Star Wars. You know that's how I view about it. It's like is it always going to make sense? Not really. I mean like it's but hey, it's a journey. Like don't think too much into it. As long as it's fun, that's the important part.
But I'm totally down, because we know that they're going to reuse some sequel characters in the next trilogy movie coming up, and probably like what 2027.
I just hope they don't rely on them too much. I want it to be new
Maybe
standalone
not.
stuff.
But I hope that the enemy is
we
just
need to,
something
like,
old
talk
because
more-
it brings out so much cooler stuff. Because like the
Like the
ancient,
Grey Jedi.
yeah, well, yeah, the Prime Jedi in balance, but yeah, Gray Jedi I don't think because Revan in a sense is balance, but it's the same thing with like Darth Mar. It's not that you find like this perfect equilibrium. Yeah, because if you use the dark side, it has to corrupt you a little.
Grey Jedi.
Yeah.
Grey Jedi.
So
Great
many
Jedi,
people need it,
great
and I
Jedi.
understand. But I also know
Alright,
a
listen,
lot of the
like,
people who
I'm-
write Star Wars go, that's not going to happen, bro.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people get pissed off anytime someone you mentions Grey Jedi. I was like, listen, I just think it's cool that Rey has a yellow lightsaber, even though she
Yes.
isn't like a guardian of the Jedi Temple. I don't care. It looks cool. All right.
And
Like,
it sounds awesome. It's like bassy.
right? I mean, like it'd be nice if the Ahsoka series coming out, like finally mentions that she is a great Jedi. Like I'll go to the movie like, it's canon.
So but you have it. It is canon. It's just not called the Grey Jedi. They're not called Grey Jedi. They're called Wayseekers. In the High Republic, there is a sect of Jedi who they learn at the Jedi Temple, and then through the Force realize I don't want to follow the Council anymore. I'm going to follow only the Force. And they
I thought
go.
those were just called Qui-Gon Jinns.
That's what he would have been. Qui-Gon Jinn would have been a Wayseeker, 100%. That's why he's the best Jedi ever. That's why those are the best.
Yeah, that's why he easily defeated every single villain.
Yeah, right. Well, they haven't made it exactly
that's
canon,
Jedi.
but they will make it. I'm sure they'll make it canon that Ahsoka is a Wayseeker because she also has white blades, just like Orla Jarini, who purified her blades, and she was a Wayseeker. But yeah, the Wayseekers go out in the galaxy. They find the Force and they connect with different Force cults, and then they bring that knowledge back to the Jedi, and they tell them,
Force
"Hey,
cults?
Yeah.
Why not Force Titans or Force Jaguars or Force Texans? All right, listen, we're gonna get North and South. All right, let's fuck the Force Colts. All right, Force Jaguars. All right.
I remember the
Force
Force. I remember when they were the Force Oilers."
But they still had a King Henry. Who knows?
Right. The next parts though of Star Wars are going to be extremely exciting due to the fact that it is going to be an unknown era, with Acolyte being so far behind. Andor at least is not touching Jedi, but with the Ahsoka series, we're getting to finally, hopefully, get the answers of like what happened to Ezra, what happened to Thrawn,
Right.
what's going to come back through all of that.
What happens to Ahsoka?
What happens to Ahsoka? Because she's definitely not around in the original trilogy. She knows Luke.
We know now that she knows him.
That's after the.
But she survived.
Yeah, she survived. So
she survives. So, that's kind of like my issue I have with the Rings of Power series. The fact that like who cares about Galadriel? She survives. We get like the only thing in that series. It was so boring. You have all this great source material from Tolkien's mind, and you make it absolutely boring and just unwatchable. The only thing that's watchable about it is the dwarf king and his wife. Like wife holds the entire glue of that entire show. That's the only thing we care about is them and Elrond, and that's it. When they're off screen, it's like I'm immediately disinterested anymore. I could not finish that show. I got like 4 episodes in. I was like, wow, they made this really cool, fun thing boring as all fuck.
I would love a series of just the dwarves.
Though, as someone who's never really read the Silmarillion and is a very easy man to please, don't care. I liked it. It was entertaining because I also was like, wait, the elf could be bad guy? The elf was a bad guy? No, elves could become bad guys. Wow, that elf was a bad guy. He got morphed by Sauron's master, because that's what I'm the most interested in. Like, that's what I looked up. I'm like, who's Sauron's master? Morgoth?
Orcs are. Orcs are just twisted elves.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then the Uruk-hai are twisted men. So they're twisted by the dark magic there. So and they explained some of that there in the original Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Never really watched it that much. I watched it like maybe
had, like,
1/87th of the amount of times I've seen Star Wars.
And I'm like, sitting here, I rewatch it once a year.
Yeah. It's
yeah,
good.
I thought that like every household just like had to have like the collection of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the collector's edition, their box set, Blu-ray, or
you do because one person has it, and then the other one cares about Star Wars more.
Yeah. Because I've got I definitely have that like as soon as they came out, I was like, our family had those, right? And then it
No, we
just
had all
became
the
like
like
something you have to have
we had
as part
all
of
the
a
Star
Halloween.
Wars
You
box
have to have the
sets.
Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah, no.
He married into it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I watched it all. But then again, I also liked the what was the other one? Dragons.
Oh, House of the Dragon's fine.
House
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I like that one. That
I
one
mean,
was good.
listen, like, it's fine. Good dragons, lots of dragons. I appreciate that. They don't know how to shoot dark scenes because, quite frankly, we don't want like the editing effects that they've done nowadays. What we want is them to go back to the magical, like light source. Somewhere in the we don't care if it looks like a set. Just give us that magical light source so we can see dark scenes. Like they did that in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy because they had a
Yeah.
set and then they had a magical light source that made everybody you could actually see them in the dark while still making it look like a dark scene rather than using a weird filter. They had it figured out in the early 2000s, folks. Weta Workshops had it figured out when it came to making CGI not look like crap 30 years later. And
That's the power that Lucasfilm has though, because
although
now
I
with
will
like
say,
the what is it, the not the theater, but what's it called?
I am not great at
I
things right
know.
now.
But Lucasfilm has these massive sets now that are literally just these huge projectors. The Element, no, I don't. I'm gonna always.
yeah,
stand
the
it.
volume.
The volume.
Volume.
Thank you. Yes. But that's what they're doing. It's like, no, we're literally just gonna put you on this planet, and if it's nighttime, there's still lighting from like the fact that
There's
it's
the
Star Wars.
moon.
Like
There's planet.
the
There's all
only
kinds
part
of stuff.
of Obi-Wan that I was like, what the hell? Hold on, turn off the lights. There's too much glare. Was the Vader and Obi-Wan fight scenes part of them? Just because it's supposed to be very dark and like rocks, and then they would fight, and there's lightsabers. You're like, oh, I see them. Look at them. There's the red guy and the blue guy.
And hopefully with more Dolby Atmos and Dolby Vision TVs coming out, that more people can get to appreciate that. But not everybody still has that just yet. There's people that have like 10-year-old TVs. Like I'm fortunate enough, like I've got a cheap Roku TV, but it still has Dolby Vision. I'm not like that's my bare stand. I was like, I gotta have Dolby Vision. Deeper blacks, and it's not a true HDR experience because it doesn't have the lighting zones and the dimming zones, and like from a technical standpoint, but it's still enough to have the color profiles to the point where it's not too dark for me to see there. But like again, sometimes there's a lot of cut corners, especially when it comes to the graphics things, and part of that is due to the vast underpayment of the industry there and overworking of those artists as well.
And crunch
overworked.
times. I can't imagine being on a Star Wars like film crew right now because you're getting work to the fucking bone. I can't.
They had to
You're
make up all
flying
that time
everywhere
for
all
COVID.
the time. The different scenes. You're laying on rocks that are jagged, trying to film this guy walk over you for this perfect shot. Although now it's like it's all drones and it's all like machines. Like no, there's still that guy who's just like, hold on, wait, don't move.
It's usually dolls.
You're moving.
Actually.
Why are you moving? Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah. Again, I think the early 2000s really was a golden age for CGI and stuff like that, culminating with the CGI phenomenon that is James Cameron's Avatar, obviously in 2009.
Oh, Dances with Wolves. Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah, hey, listen, I've got the 3.5 hour director's cut of that for on 2 discs. If you want to come over, we can watch it sometime. Like
Hey,
we're going to see the new one.
I know we're gonna go see the new one, but still,
Dances
with Wolves is amazing. Love it.
Every single review of Wave of Water is fantastic that I've seen so far, which like I'm super pumped about because again, like I love that shit. I love I think I saw the original one 5 times in theaters.
Yeah.
Between the original release and the re-release.
I don't even remember when it came out.
It was
2010.
It came out in December 2009.
We were still in high school.
Director's so I was just out of high school, and then the director's release I think came back out in either March or May. It was an M month there, but it came back to theaters for that, and where they added a little bit extra more. And then when finally the DVD collector's edition one came out, they added even more stuff. Plus the of course all the interviews and all the behind the scene featurettes, which that's really interesting seeing the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
I love that sort of thing.
At that time, I was rewatching prequels, and either the Clone Wars first series or if the other one was out, and that was it. And then anime, but mostly Star Wars.
And like I said, it's all like, and we all have different stages of growth there. We all have different I've got a lot of eclectic interest there. So
And that's the cyberpunk one is really interesting. That I know. I'm sure you'd be interested about this. I would love for them to visit Nar Shaddaa someday. Like actually go to this hut controlled, anything goes, casinos on every corner planet. If Night City and Las Vegas had a baby, it's Nar Shaddaa.
You've been wanting Nar Shaddaa for
I
a long
want it,
time.
and I really thought that Obi-Wan was going there with that other planet, wherever he went, that had all these fluorescence everywhere, and his daughter who played this girl selling spice to him.
Yeah, that was a gorgeous. I loved every single minute of that part of Obi-Wan.
I love the contrast of also seeing the Inquisitors and the Stormtroopers marching around that area. Like everyone's so alive and vibrant, and then there's just this cold death walking through the center.
Right, and it's completely intentional there. It's supposed to be that stark contrast of like, hey, we are here to impose order in this very lawless, very corporate forward. It's got all these bright colors are there to kind of entice you and bring you down into, and they're very synonymous with the sin that happens on that planet, from the drugs there, from the human trafficking, all this stuff that's kind of lawlessness, and you have this stark contrast of like, hey, we are the law in order. We are the hammer, the fist that is here to quash any sort of hope or any sort of like individual freedoms that these kind of excesses allow you to express with all these bright colors and all these flashy fun neons here. And that's what that stark contrast is there for to provide that uniformity to say, hey, we are going to oppress you to the point that you become another cog in our system here. That's why you look at the galactic symbol there, the Galactic Empire symbol. It reminds you very much of a cog there, because that's what they're trying to form everybody into being these little cookie cutter pieces there. And they really aren't, but that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh. I was gonna say something, but I realized it's an Andor spoiler. Boy howdy. That's all I can say.
Again, we've gotten
but
to,
there is the cog and the machine kind of thing. That's one of the best things about the rebellion is the everyman fighting, and that's another reason why I've been really enjoying again the new era of Star Wars, where we are getting the everyman story. We're no longer like, hey, let's focus on this eclectic Force religion of monks who are very peaceful, except for right now because they got tricked really, really well.
Yes, well, screw the heroes. Tell me about the economy. Tell me about like
oh, the Mon Mothma scenes are amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Mommy
Mothma. I have not heard that one yet. All right,
we jumped the shark. All right,
let's go.
Woo. She looks great, and she's
amazing.
continued to look great.
The costuming is fantastic, and then when you see like the in-wall lighting of her apartment there on Coruscant as well, it's that elegance there. And then her sister comes to visit for a little while as well, and then like the conflict between her and her husband as well, like
and the daughter
personal connections. And yeah, it's just very interesting there.
From my standpoint, I love world building. I love culture. I love learning more about, like, I want to learn more about Twi'leks and how they interact with everything. I love seeing how their culture has affected everything with their relationship.
Chandrilan child marriages, it's a thing.
Like, and how the daughter...
Game of Thrones has incest, and Star Wars has child marriages. All right.
Child Andor, the first few episodes, has proven there's bras and sex in Star Wars because of Bix and her boyfriend. So we've now already gotten a way more adult thing than we've ever gotten in the past for the galaxy far, far away. Next thing you know, someone's just going to straight up snort some death sticks and go on a killing spree.
I thought you were going to say walk in nude.
I don't, I will give someone drugs over nudity
there
before.
Were already strippers with like Jabba the Hutt though, like the dancers.
Close, you can get very close to it. Yeah, you can get as close as you want, but not there.
Like you say, there's bras in you say there's bras in Star Wars. Like we saw that in episode, in the Revenge of the Empire Strikes Back. We saw that there's bras there, man.
Well, that's the middle bikini. Don't forget. No. You're asking only about the slave outfit though. Don't forget, Carrie Fisher also said she was told she could not wear bras or panties on set because there was no underwear in space. She had gaffer's tape over, or not gaffer's tape. She had electric tape over her nipples.
Well, yeah, that's space, but obviously they're on a planet now, so that's different. You know,
But it's the first iconic time
you're in
we've ever
space,
seen
I get it, but, like,
undergarments.
now you're on a planet.
We've
Like,
never once seen undergarments otherwise, except for in a Bacta tank.
And it's like a spandexy.
Yeah, and it's a spandex suit. You know, they like long johns. It happens.
No,
Everyone
no,
likes
you,
some
you
pair
do
of
see
long
kind of like
johns.
an undergarment type loinclothy thing in the trailer for not Fallen Order, but the sequel there.
Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, we got those
Jedi
now.
Survivor there. You see that guy? Who's that guy? Could it be Star Killer? Who's and is it the same guy that lights up the lightsaber? It's underneath the mask that attacks Cal at the end of that one. We don't know. There's a lot
So
of fan
the
theories
guy,
popping up over that.
the guy who's attacking Cal when you pause the screen, he's using Cal's saber, the
Yes.
top half of it. So he probably just took it somehow from him. The robes give off a High Republic vibe.
Mhm.
The very, very slaty bluish skin is two things. Either it could be maybe an Umbaran, or it could be the.
Which would explain the blue eyes.
It's actually just Thrawn. It's just
Yeah, it's just-
Thrawn.
it's just Thrawn somehow.
Yeah, this is where Thrawn shows up. You know,
That'd be fucking
He's more
hilarious.
sensitive now.
Or it is an Everini, which is the Marchion Row species from High Republic, who are the main bad people. But he doesn't have the right teeth or eyes, but he could be a freak of nature.
Could be Yuzon Vong.
Hey, there we go. And they're going to look like this instead of the weird no-nose skull face. And they're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
we made him pretty. Oh, now no one cares.
Listen,
See,
if
you
they-
make
if they
them
had the
hot.
no nose,
Yeah, you make them hot.
They would have gotten sued by Stargate for the Atlantis wraiths. All right.
Yep.
No, Disney would have just bought them then. They were like, all right, we
we
just
all
bought.
steal
we just-
from each other.
we
We
bought
all steal
Stargate.
ideas from each other. It's fine
Yeah.
as long as
I
you
mean,
acknowledge.
What are you
it.
gonna do?
The
Oh my
freaking
gosh, are we
creature
gonna do
from-
a story about the hero's journey with some plucky guy who has a roguish fiend with a scruffy friend? That's never
Wow,
been done
that
before.
sounds like something I've never heard before.
Yeah,
Tell me more.
yeah, exactly. Oh, and they find a very sassy but strong leader female. No.
Man, I can already see the fan fiction happening.
All everything is now.
But
it's
we love
just
it.
fan fiction
Yeah.
and everything.
Everything's just now the fans have now gotten to a point where we control the media because we've been in it long enough that everyone else is dying.
We just happen to have the best fan figure, out there running the show, and Dave Filoni.
That's why way over there on that cabinet, I made sure to get the Trapper Wolf figure, so I could always have Dave watching over me, and George Lucas. You had to get the
And
Lucas
so we
figure.
can just go like,
Do you
God,
think it's just? Do
damn it,
you think
Dave.
it's Dave himself, or do you think all the power rests in his hat?
Hat.
The hat. You think?
It's the
No.
hat. No, it's the hat. He
I think
has
it's
to
that
have the
leather
hat.
jacket. He has to put it. That's why he puts it on every now and then, and it recharges, and he can take
If
it off.
he doesn't have the hat, he can't make ideas.
If he doesn't have the hat, he can't make ideas. Well, God's forbid he ever lose that
Crack the
hat,
case, ladies and gentlemen.
because I need
Crack
him.
the case, folks.
I as much as I don't like constantly being reminded that a lot of small children died on that day in Order 66, I also don't mind seeing it, and I love his episodes. So let's go.
That's the other thing. Episode 4, we're probably gonna get Order 66 again,
More
but
than
from
likely.
Grogu's point of view.
That would be amazing. Why not? Let's go. Mando and Grogu go back to Coruscant to find some Jedi artifacts, and Grogu has flashbacks, and it's tragic, and it's horrible.
And he goes crazy and like chokes somebody or something.
Just
I don't
chokes-
know.
Just like
My
crushes.
biggest problem with it is that whenever you have child actors on, in the scene there, inevitably to make the child actors look good, every single adult that interacts with them has to eat the scenery. They have to be
Mhm.
completely, overselling and everything there, and that's a little just to try to like make the children look normal in comparison there.
Although I would definitely say Leia did it. The young Leia was
She was
phenomenal. That young lady did great. I think. I
She
really
embodied
enjoyed
everything about.
Aside from like the only pick I'll ever have was just that chase scene was awkward as shit. But it's gonna happen. You're
Which
gonna have
one?
young Leia in Obi-Wan being chased by the mercenaries.
Yeah, I'm saying like which chase scene? There's that like
The
there's
forest.
a whole. There's a lot of chase scenes that happen in that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to be a little more specific there. They were on the run
Yes.
for quite a long time in that series.
The forest one.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah,
I
pretty much
think
the
that
entire
that
premise
young
was
lady
just
did
a
good.
chase scene for like half the episodes. That was the entire premise of this episode for half.
Veta, he's on that ship. I'm going to fight him personally. We could blow it up right now. No, I will fight him personally. This will totally go the way I want it
Plot
to.
armor.
Yeah,
And then his
it's
eczema
gotta go.
flares up, and then you got to put him
Yep.
back in the back of the tank.
The next thing though, like I do wish they would bring out some of the Hidden Empire and Crimson Dawn stuff that's been going on, because Kira and the Crimson Dawn Syndicate has been putting up one hell of an awesome fight against the Empire and like really sticking it to Palpatine.
I
And
think you're just saying that because you want more Maul, which I mean, same.
Well,
I want
Who
more Maul.
doesn't?
yeah, Maul's dead in the comics. I've never seen Maul's not one time shown besides a hologram in those comics. He's long gone. Kira's in charge now. But I mean I would also, yes, totally love to see in between Clone Wars and like Crimson Dawn era Maul. That would be amazing. Solo 2, let's go. It was supposed to happen. Like they have to have written most of it, or at least some of it.
Yeah.
What I want more than Maul is a Star Killer.
Oh yeah, a lot of people want Star Killer, but it has to be. I want to see Sam Witwer in Star Wars on his face on
As
screen.
himself.
I want that, but he cannot be the Star Killer we know, because that motherfucker is too
OP.
powerful.
Also, isn't it kind of funny, like how like Alden Ehrenreich just completely vanished off the face of Earth after Solo? And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, he really hasn't been in anything since then. Like he's been like, I take it back. He is in 2 upcoming movies.
Good. I
One
was
of them
worried that
is-
Star Wars fans did what they did best and ruined him.
Yeah, he hasn't acted since 2018 when
Yeah.
Solo Star Wars Story came out, and then now coming out in 2023, he has both Oppenheimer, which is about the atom bomb there, and he also is going to be in Cocaine Bear. So there you go.
Oh,
Really,
I'll see him in Cocaine Bear, I guess, because that movie I've gotta
He's getting work.
I don't know what substance to take, but
he's in
Cocaine Bear.
Ironheart, too.
Cocaine Bear is not a sober movie. That's 100% not a sober movie.
Oh yeah, no, we're 100% not going to be watching that at all sober. He's also going to be in Ironheart allegedly as well.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be
So
good.
there you
No, I'm
go.
happy to see some of these actors returning, because we gotta do Finn some we gotta do him some justice. I'm trying not to like really cuss. It makes me angry, dude. Finn got screwed.
He
Finn
did.
got so screwed.
Yep.
And like not only just the character, but literally John Boyega. Like I always show people like, no, like literally the poster, Finn.
Yeah, he hates Star Wars.
Chinese
He will
poster, Finn.
Yeah, he will never act in anything Star Wars related ever again. I don't.
He is
think-
returning.
Yes.
No, he is returning. He has agreed now. He's like, you know what? I think I'll come back.
How much money do they give him?
Bro,
Oh, dude.
you know, it's like, hey,
They
if-
probably also had to have a clause in there, like, yes, you will be a Jedi.
yeah, you're
or
gonna get your
something.
force powers, your own lightsaber. It'll be purple too. Don't worry. Or cyan or whatever the
Whatever
fuck you
color
want.
you want.
You can have a first live action. Well, no, actually, Ahsoka does have the first live action white one.
Man, that'd be great. So just, he gets a teal one. And it's just like
Yeah.
like imagine he's just a secret Jacksonville Jaguars fan. And it's a teal one. It lights up, and when it lights up, it doesn't go. It just goes Duval.
Bright like
Anyway,
gold
what I'm saying
around
is
all the
fuck
hills.
Tennessee Titans.
They're starting to bring back the crossguard too, so maybe.
Oh,
some of
I'm
the
so
crossguard-
excited to see more cross guards in Star Wars.
In case I can't be any more clear right now.
Oh man, watch out!
Jaguars flip flops.
You also gotta watch out though. You can't be throwing those conchas around like that. You're gonna give anyone some. You might trigger somebody. A sandal. He's coming at me. The next thing though, I really do also again aliens. I think that's one of the
Yes.
next big one is we've got to start going to more alien
That one?
planets. Maybe Bad Batch is gonna be doing some more of that stuff. Acolyte definitely.
Bad Batch,
And
yeah.
not just showing them, like giving us a taste
Yeah.
of their culture, how they would interact with something on their planet, how like one little thing brings them joy. I don't know, just some cool stuff like that. Make it more personable.
Mhm. Have you seen Tales of the Jedi?
No, not yet.
No,
We're-
that's
we're
fine.
gonna- we're on the
Right.
we're
Yeah, you're on the
listening.
Andor train. Trust me, Andor needs to come first.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Like, but like, I am excited for Dad Batch to come back.
Oh, love
and,
it.
And I mean, like, and one thing I noticed in the trailer there, I don't know if you caught this. Like, obviously, we get all the favorite players back again. We got Tick. We got we got Hunter.
Ricka.
We got Rekka. We got Omega.
Yeah.
But if you notice, she does actually. They did tune her down a little bit on the Straya a little bit there.
Oh,
in the,
nice.
In the trailer.
And she
Yeah,
murked
is-
some
she's-
crabs.
Dude,
Yeah, she's
getting
a
good.
little less. Her accent is a little less Straya, and I'm hoping that means that she's a little bit more understandable, and I don't need to rely on the closed captioning as often with it.
Maybe
it was
because
just a little
her hanging
like
out with the clone so much.
Now,
we can only hope, because that was my only criticism, was occasionally just that voice was just a little bit. Oh, all right, that okay? Okay, all right.
yeah. The next big thing too, though, of course, with Bad Batch is this going to be the death of Cody? Because we get to see him in the trailer.
I
So
mean,
is this what's
'cause
finally?
it's Cody, not Rex. Yeah, because Rex still makes it to Endor.
Yeah,
So
and
Oh.
and Rex is hiring him. I mean, we could, but we also they've already saved Gregor in season 1, so we need Wolf, and then that'll have the Clone Wars guys all
Well,
saved.
and you saw in the trailer, like, more of these clones are starting to
Yeah.
question the order of 66 there. So it is
I
kind
think
of.
it's
What
gonna go into the
is-
war, like the clone. What was it called?
There's actually the Clone Rebellion.
Yeah.
Insurgency? Okay. I would call it more of an insurgency, but that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
could-
and seeing
yeah,
all the
Insurgency would
droids
make
too.
sense.
Like that was
Yeah,
really
and-
cool.
Let's see, where's that picture at? 'Cause I have
It's in the
they
Beast
just
one.
yes they just dropped Bad Batch
The names of all the episodes.
January 4th. It looks like they might be dropping the first and second episode at the same time. Spoils
Makes
of
sense. They do
War,
that a lot.
Ruins of War. Then we have the Solitary Clone,
I
Faster,
feel like that one's gonna be Rex or Cody.
maybe Entombed, Tribe. Then the next number 2, February 8th, we get 7 and 8. The Clone Conspiracy, and then Truth and Consequences. And then it's The Crossing, Retrieval, Metamorphosis, The Outpost, Pabu, Tipping Point, The Summit, and then Plan 99 is the last episode.
I feel like the summit is gonna have the one with that weird like walker creature.
Which is not a Zillow Beast. Oh my god. That is not a Zillow Beast.
Like Plan 99 definitely seems to indicate that there is going to be a big conflict
Yeah.
with the Empire and a lot of the clones there. It seems, kind of like, and similarly how they did Order 66. I mean, it's just a 6, but turn it upside down. All right, that's what
Right.
it is, just 99. Like that's why you put.
And they're
69
Clone
on the
Force
upside down,
99,
69.
so it could be the fact this could be their triumphant moment where they're like, no, and we're leaving to this random planet way off here. We're never going to talk to any of you again.
Because like
Or die.
they were able to really establish kind of like an identity of themselves there as the Dad Batch, but like it's still, we still have this unresolved conflict with the sniper guy.
Crosshair, yeah.
Crosshair, yeah. So like it's either, if you think that Rex is gonna die, I think that Crosshair is gonna be the one to do it, and I think you're still gonna have that how irredeemable can they make him. And will he get an opportunity to have that redemption moment?
Mhm.
That's point. He's so bioengineered to hate his own kind. There, read into that what you will. Is that like a metaphor
Yeah.
for anything else? Listen.
I don't know, because the way I look at it is, since he was breaking his programming a bit at the end there, I almost want to. There's that little part of me that's like, maybe he's a secret agent and he's a double agent and he's still working with his brothers. But I'm sure he's also very troubled, and it's going to be very. It's going to be extremely traumatic. He's going to be very troubled. There's going to be more episodes with him, and Crosshair and Hunter are going to constantly be like, just bam. It's Inuyasha and his older brother.
No, I was gonna say, because we've seen that story a lot in Star Wars. So,
Shikamaru? No.
so it'll either be kind of like a mirroring of that same storyline throughout that we've seen constantly in Star Wars, or
Yeah.
there's an opportunity for him to kind of like break from some of those tropes there. And I'm a big fan of trope breaking.
Yeah.
I love it when that does happen. And I think that's an opportunity for them to kind of like explore a territory that Star Wars really hasn't explored yet. Like, because you see that, like, even from the Return of the Jedi there, where Vader breaks free from the Empire and turns on the Empire there and goes back to focus on his family.
Yeah.
So it's something that we've seen a lot in Star Wars. I can understand if they do that. Personally, I would be a little disappointed if that was the case. I would rather see him be the point that he doesn't get redeemed. Like there are times, like, in life where there isn't that redemption story. There is that often in Star Wars, but I think that every once in a while it is nice to get that reinforcement. It's like, oh, that's right. Sometimes people that got turned bad can't be redeemed, and sometimes they just have and then that survivor has to deal with the guilt there and facing that sort of conflict there. I think that's something that they haven't really tapped on, and could be a big wealth of storytelling for them.
Very true.
If like the rest of the Dad Batch, hey, all of a sudden Crosshair dies, and he still hasn't really been able to redeem himself, and so they still have to face that survivorship guilt,
Mhm.
that survivor's guilt of that unresolved trauma of, hey, this was our friend, this was our brother in arm here, and he never got an opportunity to really redeem himself. He died a villain, and now we have to live with that. That we tried everything we could, and we failed in that. And I think that is a very powerful thing that Star Wars hasn't really had too many opportunities to really touch on.
So, do you think Riva should have stayed more bad?
Hmm?
Riva from Obi-Wan. Do you think Riva should not have had like? Because I can see both. Like, I like the idea of the redemption arc for Riva, but I'm
Mhm.
also down for her to have just constantly been like, "No, I'm gonna kill everybody. I'm sick of all you Jedi now."
Yeah. So I think that she was kind of I mean, being a sister of the like the what was she, like, fifth sister, sixth sister?
Oh yeah, I
I
don't
think she
know. I can't remember
yeah, she
her
eventually became
Inquisitorium number.
yeah, she eventually became like the Grand Inquisitor temporarily. There, well, I thought that was I'll be honest, I thought that was a little mishandled.
Hmm.
The way they treated her character there, because it was just very different. Because, like, again, the sisters and the brothers, they just had numbers. They didn't really have names.
Yeah.
As dedicated as told in Star Wars Rebels. Granted, this is the live action, and sometimes people have differently shaped heads in live action than they do in the canon cartoon. So there's that sort of stuff happens sometimes, but I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of her arc
Yeah.
too much there. Like, I understood. Um, like, I think when she makes that heroic sacrifice there at the end there, I get that. But, like, I think it would have been fun just to kind of like see her kind of go down more like that Darth Maul type path
Yeah.
there, where she hates the Galactic Empire, but she also doesn't. She
No
fought
friend
the
of the
rebels.
Jedi. No friend. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like, give us those individualistic
Well, because
ones,
not everyone
and
has to
then
be a Sith or a Jedi, man. There's the acolytes of the Beyond. There's the Night Sisters. There's so many other. Oh,
but but like it makes sense that ultimately you are one person against the entire galaxy.
yeah.
You are going to be crushed every single time because of the might of the Galactic Empire, and it does
So then
reinforce
shine bright like a
just
diamond.
how ruthless that empire is, because they do not care if you are a former member there. Hey,
Hmm.
listen, we don't care. We ain't gonna pay out your pension. All right, you
Oh
quit
yeah.
on us. All right, we ain't gonna.
They don't care if
There's
you're a
no
current
retirement home
member
for you.
there.
We
They're
will
like,
crush
wait,
you.
wait.
This is what we do. This is
Vader
what we
asked
do
for
to
an
everybody.
iced coffee, and you brought him a lukewarm coffee with 2 ice cubes in it. You're choked to death. You're dying. Like, you know that, right?
Hey, at least it has Luke in it. All right, I'm sure he's happy about
Oh,
that.
oh, my son. He'll be more angry about that. So he's like, you got to like bring up his kid somehow and then run away while he's thinking about it. Hope he forgets. Then like randomly you're just in the bathroom like an hour later.
Here's the robot chicken clip. Wait, I have a son. I have a son. Ah! I'm a father. Ah! Oh, man.
There are so many other fun things to dive into. Visions, I think the next season of Visions was announced too, so that's going to be awesome. I'm excited to
That was
see.
amazing.
And I also heard, I believe Darth Chaco told me or had mentioned something that this is not the case for this Visions is that they might not have to stray away from canon, people, times, and like
Events.
settings and events. So some of these
I'm okay
could
with
be set in like Clone Wars or something.
and be canon.
But
Yeah,
that being said, I love.
I could totally see them in the High
that-
Republic.
Like, I love some of that non-canon shit that they were doing, where it's just like, yeah, this is just fun and ridiculous, but now we have Force and lightsabers. So
Yeah,
let's
the
just have
Ninth
fun with,
Jedi
like,
is some of the best Star Wars ever.
I want to know more on that story.
I love the Ninth Jedi. That's like one of my favorites. The duel is
Like,
good, but
yeah, I love the Ronin one, but yeah, but like the one where they like get supersized and they start cutting through like the fucking spaceship,
yeah,
outside, like they're a goddamn
the twins.
mecha anime. Like, yeah, the twins. Like honestly, like I would love to see like a fucking Gundam Jedi Gundam lightsaber fight out in space, and then they all have, and then they shoot the rockets, and then
cut
of course
up.
they do the and they
Yeah.
zip zop and zoom across the screen. They're avoiding the explosion boom, 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 that happens behind them there, and they come back with a laser. Yeah, like, but make it Star Wars.
Go for it. Let's go.
Exactly. Like that would be great. I am totally fine with it not being canon. Just
I honestly
fun.
expected the Studio Ghibli thing to be more. I didn't expect it to be this quick little like 5-second thing they would drop on Disney Plus. I was like, oh my god, are they about to make
They
like
were
a cool...
hyping it up for like
Yeah, they
a
were hyping it up like we were about to
short
get like a
or
movie or
Like
something.
Miyazaki's like 83 years old. Man's on his deathbed. He can only animate two pages a day.
I
Let
know.
the man die.
They definitely hyped it up a bit more.
Yeah. Uh,
It's
it
a good
sucks to think of the
screensaver,
art
though.
style will die with a person, though. I'm like, there's got to be someone who can draw like him, right? But you got
They can draw like him. They can draw like him.
you're never gonna
But
do that. You're never gonna make me
imitating
want ramen so much in my life.
Yeah, but and imitating an art style doesn't necessarily mean that you are able to capture the essence of it either.
Yeah.
You can have something that looks totally different, but can capture that essence as well. And
Like some of the
capture
Star
that
Wars
soul.
movies to people.
Yeah, like because there is a certain soul that comes with that.
Yeah.
And if you're able to capture that soul there, it really gives you, it doesn't matter what the art style is, as long as you can kind of like, wow, these are actual stories that really have like a flesh and a depth to them.
Yeah.
And I think that art style isn't as important. It's a part of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it isn't everything.
That yes, and that expression too, though, it's all gonna be awesome. I can't wait to see so much more of those kind of things with like the director and the writing of Andor is such a breath of fresh air into Star Wars. It is so different, and yet I immediately feel connected to it. The world is so lived in and vibrant and amazing. I look forward to that in the Bad Batch. I look forward to that in the Acolyte, where we're gonna get the Sith and all of that, like really popping off, and the infiltration of the Jedi Temple and the Jedi Order. That is gonna be good.
A few quick hits before we
Yes.
start to wrap this thing up, because I've seen rumors. I'm sure you've seen the rumors there. Number one,
Mhm.
do you think that Bob Iger is going to be selling Disney to Apple? Because I've seen that rumor more than once.
Sell Disney to Apple. I don't think that would happen.
I don't think it would be
Agreed.
allowed to hapen.
Yeah, there's also that because like the FTC is already just suing Microsoft right now. They're like,
Yeah.
no, you guys can't buy Activision Blizzard, and they're like,
I mean,
well,
yeah, and
ba
you
ba.
look at- there's some other things that they've let slide. So like,
Yeah.
I don't see it happening either. But I've seen that rumor talked about more than once.
Yeah.
And then two, with Bob Iger coming back and hopefully rectifying some of the shit that has really shifted with the parks and the rest of Disney there. Is Kathleen Kennedy's seat a little warm right now?
Is her seat warm? I don't believe so because she's still because she's just manning a helm. She's really not hardcore into the writers groups or like onto all the storyboard teams. That's still like that's the Filoni and Favreau's now. That's like this new generation of writers. Bryce Dallas Howard. That's them now. I don't believe so. I think Iger's coming in to be like, what the hell did you all do with the Halcyon and how did you ruin that much money?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair though, some of those cost-cutting things did start under Iger.
Yeah.
Just Chapek ended up doing a lot because like a lot of these things, like people forget, like some that they perceived lower production there. Like the money got separated from the writers there. The writers don't get to control how much money they have to dedicate to different projects there.
Mhm.
They have to they completely separated that, and they now had to go to a different thing. And like Chapek really kind of separated the writers and the creatives from the money part, and the money bean counters there were basically got to dictate what was greenlit and what wasn't greenlit there. So hopefully that leads to more creative things.
Yes.
Like Owl House, the new season of Owl House that has just started on Disney there. Oh man, they've you can really see they've been given a little bit more freedom of what they're allowed to do. I mean, it is the last season of it. Like if you haven't seen Owl House,
Go watch it.
Yeah, phenomenal. We love it. It's phenomenal shit. But yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this next 2 years because it's
with the X-Men coming into Marvel, with like all these things happening for Disney, it's going to get to the point where I think like I agree with your point. I don't care if it's Iger or whom else is doing it, but yes, they're going to have to push this creative envelope and allow people to explore themselves and make content for everyone because everyone watches Disney.
And I think if whoever succeeds Iger, if he doesn't sell the company and transition it to selling it there for the investors to be happy, I think if it's not an internal hire, which if it is an internal hire, I hope it's somebody that came from Disney Channel or from that creative side of things there, rather than
that's what they really need.
If it's not though, you know who I think would be perfect? Somebody that's run a company like that, but can inject new life into it. Somebody from Nickelodeon's side of Paramount.
Okay.
I'd want the head of like Nickelodeon to come in
Yeah.
from Paramount and run Disney. I think that would be a lot of fun energy.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Also, I love because like Nickelodeon's heads, they were just like, we did our time. Like when Nickelodeon was kind of going out, they're like, no, we're not gonna like try and hold on to this like dying thing. We had fun, and we're just gonna keep making what we want to make individually then or on our own way. So, and that's exactly yeah, true. That is exactly what we need. So that would be super awesome. And can we get Tommy Pickles a Jedi?
No, he's Doctor Who allergy. Like, allegory, sorry.
Oh my God! There's the crossover.
Screwdriver man.
No, with anything, I think they could be like selling maybe part of it, like more of the movies or like a certain brand of the stuff. I don't know. I don't
If they
see them
need to
selling
sell
all of
anything, they
Disney.
need to sell gaming rights because like the deal with EA is not
Well, that one's
like
ending.
Yeah.
but they still announced more games with EA, and I'm a little like as somebody that plays Madden and FIFA like
Yeah,
every week, it again there's things have gotten stale with EA,
very much so.
and
But hey, Respawn always brings in some fresh air. I think they're also the ones working on like no, it's BioWare. There's another big company working on a RPG.
BioWare is not what it used to be.
No, they're not.
BioWare got
They're
gutted.
not.
BioWare
But I know
completely
Respawn
gutted.
so far is one of my favorite. Those guys are really good, really care about the game. And that's another thing I've always loved about CD Projekt Red too is like a company that is like, no, we are going to make this right. You're gonna love this. We had a vision. We're sticking to it. And that's what and in Disney, just in the business aspect, that's what you need because that's what made us fall in love with Disney was these people bent on telling you a story and entertaining a family and creating the magic of Disney World and the magic of the Wonderland.
One thing I could see with the Apple thing is becoming a deal. Like they get all of
I
Apple
don't want to
products,
get
they
Apple
get stuff
TV.
like that, and then that is something I could see.
I
Like
hate
they
Apple.
use their products.
Like as a fan of MLS soccer and Sporting Kansas City, I'm going to have to eventually get Apple TV because that's the only way I can watch my team.
Ugh.
I'm not happy about it, but like I see your point though, and that I think that because what they're doing now is that HBO Max is now just becoming Max.
Yeah.
With the WB, but it's also now allowing Amazon Prime subscribers to sign into HBO Max through Amazon Prime. So it's that nesting thing of you have a streaming service inside another streaming service. So I can't see that point where Disney Plus kind of becomes available through Apple TV Plus or Apple TV.
Now, truly, what's happening though is it's just the fact that the four companies that own everything are slowly revealing that they own everything, and that's where we get Arasaka.
And Militech and
Yeah.
Ping Tao and listen, like again, like you want to go down that road there. I've got like 3 source books over here. Like I mean, I can go into it.
I will definitely have to get in contact with you about that because I love Cyberpunk. So yeah, man, we'll have to definitely talk about that soon. Again, though, thank you so much for joining. That was a really fun conversation, and time sadly flies by. But again, yeah, no, thank you so much for joining. Not only to JT, but to all of you who may have stopped by to watch this as the time went on. Of course, we will keep this in the archives. Feel free to watch it afterwards. Leave a comment down below for what you are the most excited for with the upcoming Star Wars verse or just anything in general. And as always,